Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Your screen is visible. Yeah.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, dear colleagues, dear friends, I'm honored and delighted to be with you today at this amazing global event, virtual international conference organized by All India Forum for English Students, Scholars, and Trainers, which is called Future Human, Digital Frontiers and Post-Humanist Discourse. And I'm happy to be representing Karazin Kharkiv National University, Kharkiv, Ukraine, in our common cause of promoting digital humanities research, reconceptualizing our understanding of the human and non-human, of identity, cognition, ecology of personality and language issues, of human relationship with nature. Today, together with you at our valedictory session, we are going to concentrate on such a digital narration dimension as multimodality, with a focus on the concept ecology regarded through the lens of post-humanism. We are all aware of the fact that cognitive, linguistic, cultural ethics research has ventured into a brave new world in recent decades. Digital humanities of post-humanism, eco-criticism, this new vitalism, and other related approaches, transforming the critical environment, reinvigorating our encounters with familiar texts, inviting us to take note of new or neglected ones. A vast array of non-human, nature-related creatures, things, and forces are now emerging as important agents in their own right, and they form both human and post-human ecology. Inspired by human concern for our planet, we have grappled with the question of how important works of art, particularly digital art narrative, incorporating cinematography, can be to the preservation of something we have traditionally called nature and ecology. Yet, digital narrative's capacity to take us on unexpected journeys through the networks of affiliation we share with the earth on which we dwell, and to confront us with the drama of our common struggle to survive and thrive, has not diminished in the face of what Lynn White Jr. called our post-human ecological crisis. In the time of the post-human, in which the physical, digital, and biological domains co-evolve and interact, and in which the boundaries of the human are blurred, and our position in the universe questioned, narratives and their digital embodiment emerge as an extremely fruitful field in which to explore these emerging contradictions. Post-humanists see the current situation with human ecology in its versatile aspects as further intensification of what is fundamentally wrong with human, with an urgent need to dramatically change the existing anthropocentric viewpoints. And cinematic narratives as visual arts dimensions have most actively engaged with these debates for decades. In this connection, the topic of my research, whose fragment I would sincerely like to share with you today, is concept post-human ecology, an English language cinematic discourse as a digital narrative, a multimodality dimension. A wealth of studies of various types of discourse has been accumulated in language, literature, philosophy, sociology, but multisemiotic discourse as a digital narrative continues to be of great interest to scientists. Considering cinematic discourse as a polycode digital narrative media, the focus is on multimodal representations of conceptual metaphors with the conceptual referent that belongs to the domain post-human ecology in English ecological digital discourse on the basis of scripts, digitally presented scientific articles, and documentaries. The work has proved to be actual for at least two reasons. First is the need for a new post-humanistic interpretation of metaphorical meaning creation in cinematic digital narratives with the help of the theory of multimodality. Second, it is vital importance of ecological issues for post-humanism linguistics, literature studies, and digital humanities of the 21st century on the whole. The subject matter is the metaphorically represented key post-humanism concept ecology, one of the key post-humanism concepts in English documentaries, that relegate humanity back to one of many natural species, thereby rejecting any possible claims of anthropocentric dominance. The conceptual nucleus here is that humans have no inherent rights to destroy nature or set themselves above in ethical considerations a priori. The object of the work is multimodality of digital narrative conceptual metaphors with the referent ecology and English ecological documentaries. The aim, and it is on the slide, is to reveal peculiarities of the interaction of verbal, visual, and audio digital narration ways of actualizing metaphors of the concept post-human ecology in English cinematic digital discourse. The tasks of the research project, which are on the slide, explicate the novelty of the project presented. The material of the analysis is 3,000 fragments of ecological cinematic documentary digital narratives. The unit of our analysis is a multimodal metaphorical unity whose basis is a discursively contextualized digital narrative authoring. In particular, the following issues have been brought up to light. First, conceptual metaphors that are represented in ecological post-humanist cinematic digital narratives are proved to be semantic unities construed in the interaction of heterogeneous semiotic modes. Second, for ecological post-humanist documentary digital narratives, we have developed an algorithm of multimodal analysis of conceptual metaphors with the referent belonging to the domain ecology, whose multimodality genesis is on the slide. As a result of our research, we have come up with the idea of the genesis or development of the multimodal concept ecology. Everything starts at the level of our experience, as we can see from the slide, the way we perceive this reality. Everybody has his or her idea of ecology, environment, its smells, colors, images, tastes. All this is reflected on the cognitive level in our mind. It is already not real ecology, but it is idea, its mental representation. So appears the post-humanism concept ecology, or the corresponding conceptual blend post-human ecology. Next, this concept gets represented semiotically through science. It can be realized digitally, verbally, and non-verbally. And we see on the verbal level, in digital narratives, in life, we deal with language representations of the concept ecology. In our case, in discourse or digital narratives of documentaries. It can be done by means of primary nominations of the concept, its name and synonyms of the name, and by means of secondary nominations, like associations and metaphors. On the nonverbal digital level, that's the bottom line, the concept is actualized visually and audially. In this way, multimodality of the concept ecology is fully realized. Finally, we have revealed meanings actualized by the metaphors analyzed and combinatory models of their verbal, visual, and audio components. The methods we have used are empirical, descriptive, conceptual, contextual, and multimodality analysis. Now, let's actually turn to the major outcomes of our research. First, we have come up with our own interpretation of conceptual metaphors, following George Lakoff, Mark Johnson, John Barnden and his article Metaphor and Metonymy, Making Their Connections More Slippery, and Forswell's course in multimodal metaphors. We define a conceptual metaphor as a discursive construct that represents interaction between at least two conceptual domains and influences human emotions. As a result of our work, we have come up to the conclusion that ecological cinematic digital narratives, discourse of documentaries in our case, have at least four major features. They are multimodality, expressiveness, metaphorical nature, and the potential to impact construing reality. Besides, we have found out that multimodal metaphors of ecological documentary digital narratives are realized through verbal, visual, and audio modes of the post-humanism concept ecology. Second, the verbal mode of metaphors is represented by means of spoken and written language. It functions both as the basis of multimodality and as a source of new metaphorical meanings. Third, the visual mode. It is represented through images. They include visual support, frame structures, and digital cinematographic narrative compositions. This mode has three main functions. They are to illustrate the referent or the correlate, to provide metaphorical mapping, and to influence feelings and emotions. Next, the audio mode. It is music and sounds. The functions of this mode are to express the conceptual correlate and to create moods and the right vibes. Finally, we have come up with 9 models of interaction of verbal, visual, and audio digital narrative modes, determined by the documentary posthumanism message of this or that director. Speaking about the influence that multimodal metaphors have on human cognition and emotions, we have come up with a number of positive and negative discursive digital narrative effects that are on the following slide. Here is one example of the way multimodal metaphors work. And here is a little video for us to consider. Let's see. In this case of the documentary narrative Before the Flood, the correlate is forest devastation, and it helps us to understand the referent a carbon bomb from the conceptual domain ecology better. In its verbal mode, it is represented by the words light them on fire, a carbon bomb, massive carbon emission. Its visual component is on the slide. Yeah. Here is the slide where it is represented. As for the audio aspect, it is gloomy background music, as we have heard, which makes you feel really worried. And this digital multimodality proves the fact that the referent carbon bomb turns out to be represented verbally, as you see on the slide, and visually. All this is an instance of model 4 of digital narrative mode interaction of multimodal metaphors. The perspective of our work is to study transmedia aspects of digital narrative multimodal conceptual metaphors in media linguistics, digital linguoculturology, and language eco-philosophy within the framework of posthumanism, cognitive and emotional paradigms. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all the best, health, harmony, and the best human ecology and post-human ecology ever. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to answer questions if you have any.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are any questions by the participants, they may please ask in the chat box. Participants may please ask their questions in the chat box, or else they can tell to unmute, and we can also let that happen.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Just gratitude messages. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
For the informative session. Related to ecology, I have a query. Simply, I want to know more about the emergence of veganism worldwide as a reaction to the destructive nature of human beings towards nature.
Pardon, could you, the connection got a little bit lost. Could you please repeat the question?
Okay,
The
ma'am.
connection between, yeah, the connection between
the connection between veganism and ecology then, or environmentalism.
Yeah, there is there is both direct and indirect connection between human beings as let's say language generators and cognition generators and ecology. So there is a basic or primary connection, as we are all kids of nature. So that's why this is the primary meaning. This is the vital or pivotal level of our interrelation with nature. Then as long as we consider this post-humanism dimension, when digital technologies are here, when industrial revolution results are here, when let's say unfortunately, and let's say to grief of many people, wars are here, and military conflicts that also influence the ecology. That's the so-called secondary level. And all this is the reality, which can be interpreted in many ways. And here is where even more powerful information level comes into play. The way we conceptualize our ecology, the way we conceptualize ourselves in terms of verbal representation of our personality ecologies and metaphorical or multimodal, all this digital narrative ways of representing us. So in all this interrelationship and all this amalgamatic connections, we, even in the era of post-humanism, or in the era of, let's say, seeing ourselves not only as human species, but just as a natural living beings, one of many, having to coexist in the harmony with many. We have to think what we think about, be very, very precise and clear and very careful in our ideas, in the way we represent our concepts, in the way we perceive our nature, in many levels, on all the levels of our existence. This is the way I see our interrelationship with nature, ecology, and human beings in the, let's say, at the stage of post-humanism and, well, whatever stage to come.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
There's one question.
Question, I see. Thank you. Do you think post-humanism is responsible for ecological imbalance? Thank you for the question. Actually, from my perspective, post-humanism is just, that's a paradigm. That's a paradigm, that's a frame of thinking, a frame of our cognition about something. Who really is responsible for ecological imbalance is a multitude of human factors, including post-humanism. Not post-humanism alone, because it is just the fruit of our, let's say, cognitive activities and emotional, social existence. What is or who is responsible? That's actually human being itself, no matter in which paradigm we consider him or her. Humanism, post-humanism. As soon as we are humans, that's all depends on us. So that's why not only post-humanism.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for the question. That was good food for thought. Well, we have another question. Could you please enlighten us on how you define the term post-human ecology particularly? In terms of, let's say, one of many visions, the vision that I stick to, is that post-human ecology is human existence in the ecology, in the, let's say, multitude of connections with future, past, present, with digital realities, with, let's say, immersion, secondary or simulated realities. So that's a post-human ecology is just a more complicated ecology, including more dimensions on the basis of the fundamental human life. Human life as part of big natural process, of big circle of life. I hope I have answered a little bit, what I have been asked. Ma'am, can you sum up your presentation in a sentence? In the post-humanism era, ecology is a complex concept that is not a concept of human being anymore. It is a concept where human being is a component. So it has acquired a bigger state, and our task, our let's say goal, is to try to analyze it in terms of all semiotic modes that we have available, including verbal and non-verbal digital narrative mechanisms. Just a second, we have a question from Mohammed. Will posthumanism and decentering of man absolve humans of any accountability for the ecological disaster we are staring at? I guess that it is hardly so. Posthumanism and decentering of man does not make us, I mean, we are still accountable for everything that is happening. And we are to deal with all our power. We are to do what we can, both in terms of our academic, or let's say language or scientific activities, and human activities on an everyday basis, on a regular basis. So we are responsible for whatever is happening, both in ecological terms and in many other terms. So that's we are accountable for this disaster, and that's why we have quite a short span of time, and both with our work, with our thoughts, with our way of life and activities, we have to do our best to prevent. And thank you for the question. Such deep, fundamental questions. Like really interesting, and well, something to consider and reconsider many times. And if I let me check, I'll check if I have missed something. Does ecology, question from Mohammed Salim, does ecology challenge biblical notion of man's omnipotence of nature? That's a fundamental question. That's the question that is one of the core issues ever. I believe that ecology issue does not challenge the biblical notion of man, omnipotence of nature, because nature is the omnipotent unity and entity, and man is part of it. Actually, there are lots and lots of debate and discussions about the biblical role of man. But from the very beginning, if we look deeper, again, it depends on which aspect we focus on. I guess that initially, at the very heart of biblical interpretation and biblical seeing, of how this man and nature balance. Man and nature, man is part of nature and a child of nature. So that's why all the further interpretations seem to be imagined a little bit, I mean, not artificially, but they are biased. They seem to be biased by different aspects. Initially, at the primary core of this biblical concept, I guess this man and nature, that's one big category. Man is part of nature. And that's my vision on the basis of so far, let's put it this way. So if I have missed something, you please help me. Okay. The question from Richu, or sorry if I'm mispronouncing, how have I created all the slides into logo in such a simple and powerful? Okay. It's just part of our digital storytelling. It's how did I create all this with love and thoughtfulness and big and high respect for the organization and people who think about such serious and such fundamental issues. That's all. Multimodality, the way it works. And then Posthuman Ecology, I hope I have answered Hitaishi's question. Well, no more questions in the chat, probably some other comments, or maybe I haven't seen. Can we relate gastronomy with post-human ecology? This is a great question. Yeah, gastronomy and post-human ecology. I guess yeah, we can. Gastronomy has always been related to human ecology, both human, post-human, transhuman, all kinds of human existence aspects, because it is art, and it can be considered as, again, multimodal art. It is your way of presenting and representation yourself, and part of our nature, part of our human ecology. Yeah, we are what we eat, and it should look and smell and be, let's say, artfully, skillfully presented. So I guess yeah, we can. And sometimes gastronomy acquires a status of, let's say, an entity beyond human. Yeah, when humans start paying too much attention or focusing too much on something, this something becomes more powerful. So that's beyond human scope. So that's why, yeah, I guess we can. Well, if I can be helpful, or we can discuss something else, you're welcome. It's great pleasure to talk to you, to discuss such big and fundamental aspects of this post-humanism trend. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is really a nice thing. There's a question by Manu, sir. Talking to war-torn Ukraine, how does it feel to look at the post-human?
Again, the first part, how does it feel to look at the post-human from?
Talking from a war-torn Ukraine, how does it feel to look at the post-human? That's his question.
There is, it's been going on for, let's say, more than a year. And every day seems to be, like a battle from morning till night. So that's why there is a point after which you feel that your only mission, the only thing you are supposed to do, to take care of what you can, not to multiply evil. And well, post-human in this respect has become, let's say, if we speak about technology, post-human in this respect has become, well, a really helping line connecting us to the world. Yeah, so I cannot say that post-human, maybe I am not interpreting the post-human in the literary, or let's say, more academic perspective, not like futurism, not like artificial intelligence, etc., etc. I'm speaking about post-human as about digital technologies now, specifically in terms of war situation. Yeah, and I can say that in this context, it is, let's say, it is part of survival. Yeah, this post-human, let's say, all this digital storytelling. Yeah, let's say storytelling. Sometimes when you read a couple of words from somebody who is far, or you read a couple of lines and they say, okay, it is digital storytelling, a little story about, yeah, we are alive. And you keep on working, you keep on living, you keep on struggling. I guess that at this, let's say, scary and really threatening point, the post-human and human are in Ukraine, they are in integrity, because we basically depend on online presentation of information. We depend on connection with our close people. So, and this post-human becomes sometimes even more than human.
Thank you, ma'am. In context of this question, there's another question. In context of this question, if a man is like any other animal, how to fix the accountability, whether for war, genocide, or Anthropocene?
Well, again, in our post-humanism consideration, we should not, I believe that we should not go to great philosophical extremes. Yeah, we are humans. Yeah, even as biological species, even like, well, we can associate ourselves with an animal, but we can associate ourselves with a plant or any other natural object. So, and from this respect, we are supposed to keep peace. We are supposed to, to keep balance. Man is accountable for, as you say, for all the evil things and for Anthropocene threats, where he or she stops associating, where he or she loses roots, loses understanding, and remembering that you are part of nature and part of this peace. And primarily the globe and the ecology and Anthropocene exist for the sake of life, not for the sake of death or let's say endangering each other. So it cannot be, a human is accountable for what he or she does, but not in terms of animal nature that he or she has. It is, we're part of nature, but we are not animals anyway. So that's the difference between animals and human, even in post-humanism regard.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Just for the sake of the audience, over more than 100 people are here, I would just like to formally introduce you so that our people would get to know you in a better way.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So for all the audience over here and watching us live, Dr. Iuliia Shamaieva is an associate professor and head of the Department of the English Language, School of Foreign Languages, VN Karazin Kharkiv National University, Kharkiv, Ukraine. Her research focuses on cognitive structure of the concept joy in the English language. She is a member of various advisory boards like Brawley Journal of Social Sciences, London Academic Publishing, England, Wales, United Kingdom, Global Research Library, Canada, Global Listening Center, USA, UK, India, and member of editorial boards like Applied Linguistics Research Journal Akshara. She has more than 400 scientific and methodological publications on her credit. Some of her areas of interest are cognitive linguistics, peace linguistics, and ecolinguistics. And the list goes on. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I will be really honored and happy if we could continue our cooperation with the university and taking part in our events. If you allow me, I will share information, and it is really, it is vital. It is what ecological balance is all about. Exchanging information, keeping together. Working together for the sake of peace and sustainability.
Thank you. And with that, I also had to share something to everyone. Despite the harrowing circumstances of war and the relentless shelling that has left ma'am's neighborhood and college reduced to debris, Dr. Shamaieva has joined us here today, exemplifying unwavering dedication and resilience. On behalf of AIFEST and all those participating in this conference, we extend our heartfelt solidarity, support, and deepest compassion to the Ukrainian citizens facing such unprecedented challenges. Dr. Shamaiva's presence herself here reminds us the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of knowledge and collaboration to overcome adversity. Our thoughts are always with you, ma'am, and your fellow citizens during these trying times, and we stand united in the hope for peace and a brighter future. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for inviting me, for your warmest support, for all these kind words, and really, all your prayers, all your standing with us at such times is something that is worth living for, and being together. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So as we move to the conclusion of the sessions, I would now request everyone to please turn on their videos. I would like to thank all of you to be a part of this 2-day virtual international conference on post-humanism and digital humanities. From among the 160 plus odd papers submitted and presented during the last 2 days, spread across 6 sessions and 21 presentational rooms, chaired by as many as 12 experts, we have zeroed in on one paper as the best. Our distinguished chairs have expressed a great deal of satisfaction and appreciation for almost all the papers presented during the conference, and hence choosing the best paper among those was indeed a very tough task. For choosing the best paper among the presentation, we have used the following criteria: shortlisting abstracts, the originality of the ideas as presented in the abstracts which were submitted, the adherence to research methodology and style, the linguistic proficiency and the clarity of the ideas, and the overall quality of the abstract which was submitted. Based on these criteria, 29 papers were shortlisted by our editors before the conference started. So obviously, late submissions couldn't be considered for a selection. We also had the grading and evaluation of the shortlisted papers. The chairs of these 29 papers were informed prior, and they evaluated the actual paper presentation made by the authors. We understand that the subjectivity and the personal preferences might have influenced the gradings. So please don't take it as a scientific foolproof evaluation system. It was really difficult to choose the best from among the best. And you all became a part of AIFEST in this session. We are very happy for that. At last, let me now announce the best paper. And the title is Digital Narratives of Cancer, an Enquiry into Hank Green's Journey of Illness Experience. It was done by authors Renuka Shamsundar Belamkar, PhD scholar, and Purvi S, UG student, both from Christ deemed to be University, Bangalore. Heartfelt congratulations to both of them. Now, I would request anyone from Team AIFEST or any of the people who were there with us to please unmute yourself and share about the whole journey of the experience. The organizing committee, if you would like to say something. Over to you.
So, a pleasant good evening to everyone gathered here. And on behalf of AIFEST, I welcome you all to this concluding session of the two-day international conference. And I humbly thank Dr. Iuliia Shamaieva for her gracious presence over here. And we felt it was a thrilling session throughout. And the spectacular slides and the gripping presentation was enjoyed by each and every one of us here. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presence here. And I feel this warmth and gratitude to address you all over here. And first of all, I heartily thank all the participants and presenters over here for this virtual conference. It acts symbolic of the research consciousness that binds us, unique perspectives with which post-humanist world is looked up, and the human touch of the consciousness towards post-human and digital humanities world. I truly acknowledge and appreciate all the honored speakers and foreign delegates who have gracefully enough accepted our invitation and shared their expertise and valuable time with us. I humbly thank and recognize the effort, time of the respected chairpersons who sat through and commented, evaluated on various papers. I humbly thank all the AIFEST executive committee members, technical team, review team, and editorial board, and everybody who connected with AIFEST for their enormous effort to make this conference a grand success. And I thank each and every one of the participants over here for their presence throughout, in spite of their gripping time during the holidays, traveling, family time, okay, compensating everything, okay, sacrificing everything. And so I wish you all a rich post-humanist world and a promising human touch throughout your near future. And I wish you all the best to everybody on behalf of the AIFEST team.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vaishnavi. That was really nice. IFEST is nothing without the members, the participants who have stayed with us for the 2 day, and it was hectic, but yes, it was very interesting. So I now request any of the participants who were there with us for the 2 day international conference to please come live and speak about their experience if they want to share. And
Yeah, I want to speak.
yes, please.
I'm
Go.
Kara.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much, IFEST, for this wonderful opportunity. I did not expect, that these 2 days are going to be so, enthralling, and I'll have such a beautiful learning experience. The major concern was that, it seemed so hectic, back to back, starting from 10:30, and it will land up till 10, because I wanted to, attend each and every session. So I tried to give my best and to be a part of all the lectures and all. And particularly, without any distraction, because most of my family members are out on a party, but I stayed back behind because I was really interested in the concluding lecture. And Iuliia ma'am, I just want to tell you that you are a beautiful person inside out, and you are basically from Ukraine. That gives power to us, because right from the moment when these things happened, I came to know about the Ukrainian war with the Russians, because my brother used to invest a lot in share markets, and he lost a lot of money in that. So he called me up and he was crying. He was posted in Saudi Arab, and he invested all of his money, around 20 lakhs of his hard-earned money, and it all went in vain, because nobody was expecting such a war. But then when I saw photographs and everything that was happening, I was heartbroken, because some of my friends were there doing their medical, because Ukraine is the hub for medical things. So they came back, and the scenes and everything that we saw, devastation and all, we I'm a Muslim. I read in Quran, that there will come a time when humans will start hating each other for for no reasons. And the kind of devastation that we saw was really heartrending. But particularly, I was so interested to attend your lecture. It was so good and beautiful to listen to you. So it gives power to us normal human beings, because I'm doing my PhD, and I know how difficult it was during the COVID times and war times. At one point I started considering that I would not continue my PhD, and all sort of depressive thoughts come around. I lost my mother, and a couple of things happened. But when we see people like you speaking, it gives us power and strength. So I would like to thank you and tell you that we you all are there in our prayers, and may God bless you. And that's it. Thank you so much, IFEST, because it gave me an opportunity to to witness somebody like you. And yes, you are so strong, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much, ma'am, for connecting.
You all are so strong and so beautiful. Thank you very much. It's so smart. Thank you. And
Yes.
I do appreciate all the kind words that you addressed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Is there any other participant who would want to share their experience with IFEST and all the sessions as a whole? We had 8 major sessions and multiple paper presentations. Anyone else who would want to speak? We would be happy to hear. And I have also posted the official YouTube and Instagram social media pages link of IFEST in the chat box. If all the participants would follow us there, we would post all the updates over there. All the sessions have been recorded. They will be posted in the upcoming weeks. And we also keep on posting in social medias about the upcoming events that IFEST is going to have. So that would be nice.
Hello. I actually wanted to ask, first of all, it was an amazing conference, specifically the time when you guys organized the conference for 2 days, and the 2 days were like a blast. So it's from the morning till night, the conference was going on, and it was really nice. And I also had one query, like if you don't mind if I can ask that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the query was that where aren't we supposed to submit the full paper before 20th October?
Manu sir, would you like to reply to this?
Yeah, because they in the script it was written that after incorporating the suggestions that you are getting from the conference, then you should submit your paper. But then I was a bit confused because you kind of declared the best paper. So I got kind of a bit confused that where are we supposed to submit all the papers earlier?
Well, thank you, Supranshu, for directing the question to me. That was very clever, of you to do that. I guess, yeah, the the brochure says that you have to submit the papers after incorporating the necessary modifications by 20th of October, which means you have to do only that. Now, I understand the confusion. Announce the best paper award, and then the hasn't been submitted yet. That's probably the crux of the question. So the thing is, if you listen closely, that was not a best paper award. That was the best paper presentation based in, and Supranshu had mentioned the details there. It was based on the abstract as well as the physical presentation, not the full paper. So that was how I was also part of the chairing team. So I know what happened, what transpired. So this is how the best paper was selected, and we had I guess we were told that there were 29 papers which were 29 abstracts were deemed to be the best among the submissions that the organizers received. The editors given this list, and based on that, those of us who chaired the sessions, of those 29 people were asked to grade those 29 papers, and we all gave our suggestions only on those papers. There were multiple papers. Of course, there were other papers as well, very good papers, but probably the abstracts didn't get selected. And so you had mentioned that some of the papers which were submitted late couldn't be incorporated into this competition as well. So yeah, that is it. So competition is just objective thing, and there will be a lot of subjectivity involved. So but and this is where I would want to maybe give my feedback as a chair, because I was one connecting link throughout the whole conference, because I was fortunate to chair chair in all the sessions. After the keynote lecture, I have chaired almost 6 or 7 paper presentation sessions, and maybe like 40 to 45 people. So I was really lucky to do that, and my overall impression about the papers presented during this conference is that most of the papers were really, really good. And I will be very brutally honest with everything, say that ChatGPT has played, or technology has played, a major role in ensuring the quality of the papers. This is not to say that copied papers, or you people just copied from generated papers from ChatGPT. That is not the point. I could see that I could see a huge improvement in the language of the papers. The language proficiency went miles forward, because I guess it is the influence of ChatGPT. That was one thing. And of course, I gave the keynote lecture yesterday, and I have say, there is no hiding the fact. It is not like I read and I'm a genius and I read everything and everything is in my brain and I just gave the lecture. Absolutely not. I took recourse to ChatGPT or whatever materials are out there, and I collected materials from all these things. So I believe really that there is nothing wrong with using technology, as far as you are not looking at it as a substitute for your research paper or your research work. So in that sense, ChatGPT really enhanced the quality of paper presentations by leaps and bounds, definitely. But I can also say with conviction that among the papers I chaired, more than 90% of the papers I could see were original, not like it was generated completely or anything. It was original because I could see mistakes. And mistakes told me very clearly that those papers were not generated by ChatGPT, because ChatGPT language-wise is flawless. That was not there in many of the papers. And of course, when we ask questions, the way people respond to the questions give us a very fair idea whether they know the paper, whether they understand the concepts they are describing. So overall, I feel that quality wise, and it is okay because we are talking about post-humanism and digital humanity, makes total sense that people use technology in these things. And two things I really liked about the paper presentation sessions. One, of course, we all insist on this: paper presenters should be given more time, because usually when what we say is paper presentations 2 minutes, 1 minute, so you just tell your name and the paper presentation session is over. But here everyone was given sufficient time. I mean, not, every one of us would love to have hours if we can, but that is not possible. But still, I believe that a fair, decent share of time was provided to all, which was very good. And secondly, the thing that the person asked about the full paper submission time, and this is something that I believe in, means why are we conducting a seminar? We are conducting a seminar, we are conducting paper presentation sessions so that people can learn and people can interact and get the feedback of scholars, researchers. And if those feedback and the questions and suggestions aren't incorporated into paper, what's the use of conducting this paper presentation? So it is always a great thing that you get time to revise your paper and submit your full paper later, which is a very good idea, but which I don't see in most places. Now, regarding my feedback, I want to talk about two paper presentations that stood out in the paper presentation sessions I chaired. One, and it was very interesting. There was one presentation, and I asked that student why she had picked up that job topic, and she narrated a story, and it is one of the success stories of this conference, I would say. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, because 15 students from a particular women's college in Ansar Women's College. From this particular college, 15 students, UG and PG students, have presented papers post-humanism. You know why? Inspired by the principal who has initiated something like a talent hunt, conducting paper presentation competitions on topics. And when she narrated the topics and the themes that they are discussing, I was just awestruck with the kind of quality that these teachers and principal, himself would want to inculcate in the students. And she was saying it is a women's college and it was a part of women empowerment as well. So that was a model thing that I was really happy to see that sort of a thing happening. And I was also happy that you accepted those papers. Students presenting, of course they will make mistakes, but accepting those papers and giving them the platform to present those papers, it was huge, and that was something really memorable. And then secondly, there was one interesting co-authored paper titled Convergence Robot Instructor and Human Touch, an intrinsic desideratum for a productive classroom. This paper is co-authored by Dr. Faith Manjusha and Johanna Peter. Now, the interesting part is this is a mother and a daughter. Now, the interest doesn't stop there. They're a mother and a daughter, but apart from that, the mother is a language teacher and the daughter is a computer science student. So what I found was this paper perfectly exemplified the theme of digital humanities, because the mother, who is a teacher from languages, she was involved in the interpretation of things and language part of the paper, whereas the daughter, who is from computer science, looked at the data and algorithmic and computational part of that paper. So this is the first time I have seen such a paper where digital humanities, it was like digital humanities has taken a human form and were sitting in front of us, and Richu were there, and I could see both of them were sitting together, and I could get the impression that it is digital humanities sitting in front of me, mother and daughter. So two poignant images that would always remain in my memory from this conference. So I would like to congratulate every one of you for conducting such a wonderful conference, and I'm sure that there is no better person than Iuliia, my good friend from Ukraine, to wind up this session with such a musical, melodious, and these people were saying you're so beautiful. I would say you sounded so beautiful as well. It was mellifluous, and it sounded music to the ears. The way you presented it, the ideas, it was a treat. It was a real treat. And as Supranshu mentioned, all our hearts are with the people of Ukraine, and with you all, our prayers, our goodwill, and we all hope that the situation betters pretty soon, and all are able to get back to your campuses and do your work in a far more conducive and safer environment. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to answer that question and thereby give the feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So yes, I believe as all good things comes to an end, this conference also ends now. And I hope that all of us would meet really soon. I once again thank all the AIFEST participants, members, EC members, and all the resource persons, especially Iuliia ma'am, for being here for the concluding ceremony. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure and honor to conclude this wonderful event.